right, welcome in everybody to episode number 77 of Bases and Brews. I am Ben, that is Brandon. This is our weekly podcast where we talk baseball, beer, and other sports and other alcohols. Uh, yeah, how you doing this week?
I'm
Oh, and
doing.
our
Oh,
our first time live on YouTube
yes, this is a
this week.
first.
So
We'll see how this goes.
yeah, but yeah. Anyway, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I finally get
Good,
my day off tomorrow, so I'm stoked.
nice,
How about yourself?
doing pretty good. Had a pretty relaxing day at work, just kind of chilling, watching college football while I was at work. So
Nice.
always fun.
Uh, that's dope. That's dope. What you got on tap this week? Let's get to the
All right,
drinks. You said you had something super special.
I do, and I took a sip before I poured it, and I'm already regretting it. I think I I picked something that I would normally not pick just because the can was cool, and I might be switching to something else pretty quick here. But so I got from Martin House Brewing Company, which is in Texas. I got a beer called Down Under Strawberry Kiwi Sour.
Ooh,
So here's the can.
I really dig the can though. I could see
Right.
why you grabbed it.
I was like, okay, the can's pretty sick. But initial impressions, it's yeah, it's not great.
Is it really sour and bitter?
It's fairly sour, but it's very bitter, and
Mm.
I it's not. It doesn't taste like uh, strawberry kiwi. It just something about it just yeah. Maybe it is just the bitterness. Something about it tastes very strange to me.
Okay.
I will probably finish it. I'll force it down, but I'm probably gonna switch to something else after.
So I figure we're heading toward the end of the season. Time to relive a few of the greatest hits.
Okay,
So I went with the one that is the most recent, and I got some more of the Dragon's Milk
nice,
White Stout. This
nice.
was just so good, and it was on my way home. But I think for the next couple weeks, I'm gonna replay some of the greatest hits, some of my favorites.
Nothing wrong with that. Um, yeah,
So let's hop into it.
let's. Um, okay, so let's get started with some news. We're gonna start off non-baseball. We're gonna talk about tennis for the second time in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, for real.
um, another big, huge retirement, and that is Roger Federer is announcing that he is retiring. Um, that will basically be very equivalent to Sir Venus Williams retiring. I mean, both of those. Venus is definitely more dominant, but Roger Federer pretty much won everything when he was at his peak.
I don't know much about tennis, so I don't want to speak too out of pocket. I know him because he won a lot, and his name was always talked about. And for a sport like tennis, I hate to say it, if you're being talked about a lot, you have to be really good because people don't like tennis isn't a very common thing to be talked about.
Right. Yeah, unless it's like one of the huge tournaments.
So,
And even then, but yeah,
like I said, he's an all time great. I know that much.
yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, very similar to Venus, where they both just dominated their sport for a long time. Um, all right, have you heard about this one?
Yes,
Because this is a shit show.
a little bit. I haven't heard all the details because I've been working. I haven't got a chance to sit down and actually like look at it.
Okay, so we're going sort of NFL here. Um, Brett Favre. This was the big news story of the week for sure. So Brett Favre and the former Mississippi governor basically stole $5 million out of the welfare fund for Mississippi. and then they use that money to build a volleyball complex at Brett Favre's daughter's college, which was like Southern Mississippi State or something. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, basically both of them are very realistically probably going to face prison time here.
You know
Like
what? It's just rich people doing dumb shit. Same as always.
the stupidest part is that Brett Favre's estimated worth right now is like $190 million, and
Yeah.
you're gonna steal $5 million from welfare. Like,
The part that makes sense to me is so many people are saying like this just shows how much of a kind of a scumbag he actually is, because like he's Brett Favre. All he has to do is put on an event, get a few friends to donate some money,
I
and like
mean,
bam, he's got his 5 million right there.
you're not wrong.
Like he didn't
It's
even have
yeah.
to like use his own money. I almost guarantee you he knows enough people that would have donated, a few 100,000 here, maybe 1 million from one person if they're lucky. But like I guarantee you he'd have people willing to put in
Yeah.
for like
I mean,
some stupid little plaque or something in there. You know what I mean?
yeah. I, I mean, Brett Favre notoriously not a great person.
Facts.
Pretty well known. But um yeah, it's just nuts to me that like why do this? You're worth so much money. Why?
My question is how, because I've not read in on this yet, is how did they get it from the welfare fund without anybody noticing? Well, I mean, apparently somebody noticed at some point, but like how I
Yeah,
didn't see how long ago this was.
I think it was like 3 years ago,
Okay,
if I
so not
remember
super long
correctly.
ago. But like
No,
I would just think that like $5 million disappearing from a huge fund, like someone would notice that and be like, guys,
I mean
something these numbers aren't equaling here.
the power of the governor. You can fudge the numbers around. I guess I don't
I
know.
guess.
Yeah, it's a really strange story, and honestly, I kind of hope Brett Favre goes to jail for the shit like this.
Yeah, I'm gonna dig more into this because I find it interesting. I always find it interesting when people that have a lot of money do dumb shit like this when they could have just like paid for it.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely the dumbest part of all of this is that like you literally could have just paid the money and you wouldn't have had to deal with this.
I,
Um,
I don't get it.
but yeah, it's a really weird. I just don't know. But yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest news stories of the week. Um, just because of how insane it is that somebody like that is going to be caught doing something like this. Plus, to steal from welfare is even more fucked up than just like stealing government money.
Well, see, and that's my thing. Like, I feel like those programs are watched so tightly that it seems crazy that that amount of money could disappear and no one would notice. So this has got to go deeper than just like the two of them. It's got to.
Yeah,
I imagine it's got to. Whether anybody else gets kind of caught up in it, I
there
don't know.
they
But like,
did say that there was like a couple other people involved, but they didn't name them.
mm,
So maybe a couple of those people were like people who worked in the welfare offices of Mississippi that could,
getting a
make the
kickback
numbers
to look the
lie,
other way.
right? Or yeah, something like that. But
I mean, at this point, I wouldn't put it past him.
right, but yeah. So that's the it's a crazy story. Like if you haven't looked into it, like you were saying, like definitely go look at it because it's really nuts. But all right, this is another, the other big news story of the week was the Suns owner. Crap, what's his name? Um,
I forget.
Robert. Um, Robert Sarver, owner of the Phoenix Suns, basically came out and made a bunch of racial slurs and pretty much came out and announced he was a terrible person. Um,
Wasn't there also like sexual harassment or something like that,
I
like
think
mixed in
so.
and all this other stuff? I don't know. I
Yeah.
haven't gotten it. This is one that I've been trying to read on and just haven't had time because I'm trying to figure out what exactly like was said, what exactly happened. I'm trying to understand where this came because this came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I guess the NBA has been investigating it, but they've done a really good job of keeping it under wraps.
Rare W for the NBA, I guess. Kind of.
So, according to this article, um, he repeatedly used the N word on multiple occasions since he took over as the Suns owner. Um, he has a couple sexual harassment charges or accusations. Um, he's said a bunch of misogynistic stuff toward women. Um, but yeah. So anyway, so after all of this, the NBA announced he's going to be suspended for 1 year and fined $10 million. And basically, it's kind of looking like he might be out as owner before too long
Oh, no,
because,
he is because everybody's pushing for him to be.
well, and the big thing that's going to get him pushed out is the fact that the sponsors are no longer going to sponsor them.
Yeah.
PayPal, who is
The jersey sponsor.
the jersey sponsor, is said that if he returns after a year, they're gonna pull that sponsorship, and he will not be, or they won't let their name be on their jersey anymore. Um, there's a bunch of other sponsors that basically said if he's there, we're not giving you money. And in reality, as bad as what he said is, money is what will get him gone.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. These are always tough for me because, well, I think from the sounds of it, he's a despicable human being. And probably, yeah, not even probably, doesn't deserve to own the team. And being forced out is probably, actually, most definitely is a good thing. Just like with Sterling. I always cringe and flinch a little bit when I see how people can be ripped of everything they have for what they say.
Yeah.
When like,
yeah,
it's a tough one. Like I don't think that he deserves to have the team. Like I understand why they're doing it, and I'm for it. But like, it just like, it's just crazy.
It's tough to really be able to say like you should lose your life. Well, it's not his livelihood. Let's be real.
Yeah, at that point, but it's his business. Like,
yeah. The other thing is that essentially the owners of the NBA work as an ownership group where they're like a board of executives essentially where they can vote on things. And so yes, you own the team, but you're not necessarily above all the other owners. Like it's kind of a partnership in a way.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. It's I don't know. It's just weird. It'd be like for some people would say, "Oh, well, look at the things that like Donald Trump has said. He doesn't deserve to have any companies," which they're pretty valid on those points in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But like you're telling me you're going to take your business, just don't do business with them.
Well, and that's what happens, and then they either lose the business because nobody's doing business with them, or they get forced out because they're the ones causing the business to fail.
Well, yeah, and the NBA doesn't want to lose out on the revenue from the team, so it's a lot easier to put someone else in power than it is to watch the team die and then let somebody try and rebuild it from there if they want to.
Right. Well, and the other issue too is, right now it's just the Sun sponsors that are pulling their sponsorships. But, if somebody tries to pull their sponsorship from the entire NBA, from like the league as a whole, if they don't get rid of them, then it's like, then you're hurting the entire league's business, and that's when shit's gonna go.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, don't get me wrong, I think it's warranted, but it's just crazy to me
Yeah.
sometimes just to
No, I
watch how
understand
quickly
that.
something like that can just be swooped from you.
Right. But all right, let's get to some baseball. Uh, the Dodgers were the first to clinch a playoff berth. They also clinched the NL West at the same time. Um, the Astros clinched yesterday, I believe. I don't think they clinched their division, but they clinched a berth. Um, yeah, it's that time of year where the playoff teams are going to start falling in. We'll I do want to go over the where we're at in the playoff races at the end here again, but
Oof, I do too, because one of our teams is making a comeback. Kind
I
of.
mean it's not impossible.
It's not. Improbable, yes,
Yeah,
but impossible, definitely not.
the other one of our teams doesn't have to make a comeback.
I know, right?
Anyway, um, so this is some big news in baseball. Is for the first time ever, they're going to be doing a Gold Glove for a utility player. Um, Basically, it's either going to be a guy who comes off the bench pretty regularly, or it's going to be somebody who like plays the whole infield and doesn't really have a set position, um, or outfield either way. But it's going to be one player that does everything. It's not going to be like an infield utility and an outfield utility.
I like it.
I think it's deserved. There's a lot of guys who like don't get considered for Gold Glove because it's like you only played 30 games at each base. So which position are we going to give you a Gold Glove for?
Yeah, I dig it. To me, this is kind of like Sixth Man of the Year is for basketball.
Yeah,
Kind of.
agreed.
Kind of. Not exactly the same, but
Right,
close.
as close as you can get in baseball, because like you can't really do like a bench player of the year,
Yeah, no.
because a lot of bench players only play like 40 games.
No, but I feel like this is a way to give those guys that do or play the bench more, but really move
Right.
around a ton, which is why they're on teams in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
A shot. So I dig this.
Yeah.
I thought this was a
Because
good idea.
there is a lot of really good players that are backups or just move around and just are never or we're never going to get recognition for fielding. But
Yeah.
I am curious if they'll do not this year. I think it's too late at this point, but do like a Silver Slugger similar to this.
Mm. Well, no, because my thing would be if they are a Silver Slugger, whether they're a utility player or not, they're still going to have really good numbers.
I got some breaking news here.
Oh, what do we got?
Ozzy Albies, who just came back from missing 3 months with a broken foot, left tonight's game with a broken pinky on his throwing hand.
Oh my god.
That sucks. He's
Can't
only
catch a
played
break.
like he's legitimately only played like 2 days. I think he came back yesterday.
That's brutal.
That sucks.
That is terrible.
Feels bad.
Yeah, but
Sucks for the Braves, although the Braves were doing real good without him.
the Braves always seem to kind of put themselves in a position.
Yeah. But all right. Mike Trout. This ended by the time I put it on here, but he had a streak where he hit a home run in 7 straight games, which is one shy of the MLB record. Cleveland being the one who ended that streak. Yeah, that's insane to think about. Like 7 straight games.
That's
That's
so. Where's he at right now?
for home runs in the season.
Yeah.
He's at like 32, I believe. 31 or 32.
Let's check it real quick. He's at 36.
Holy shit. Okay.
And people want to say that Mike Trout is not one of the best, if not the best hitter in the game right now. I know what Judge is doing, but like this dude missed like 2 months.
uh, Something like that.
And he still has almost 40.
He missed. He missed about 50 games. So yeah, about 2 months.
That is nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. 36 home runs, 71 RBIs. Like it wouldn't be crazy if he hits 90 RBIs and 40 home runs by the end of the year, and he missed 2 months of the season.
Yeah. That's insanity.
Yeah. Yeah. That's nuts. Like his batting average is definitely down from where it would usually be. His OPS is still basically 1,000. It's nuts. He's having a crazy year for what he missed.
This is tied for home run wise his fourth best year of his career. Already, like right now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say Mike Trout is still Mike Trout.
Yep. Speaking of guys who are on fire, Aaron Judge.
You were about to say Mike Judge.
I was. We were talking about Mike Trout, and it was in my head. Yeah, Aaron Judge continues to just be on fire. He has cooled off slightly this week, where he was hitting like a home run every other day. He hasn't hit one in a few days now. He is 5 shy of the AL record set by Roger Maris. He's running out of time. I don't know if he's going to get there at this point.
I mean, he only needs 3. Well, no, he needs 5. That I think he's going to get 60.
Yeah, he'll probably get 60.
I think 60 is a given at this point.
That would suck if you get 60 and can't get 61. I'd feel so bad. Not for him. Like if I was him.
No, what would be worse is if you get to 59.
Yeah.
And you don't even hit that 60 mark. Because that 60
That's
mark
true.
by itself puts you in like rarefied air.
Right.
So like just getting to that mark, I think, is like the biggest goal. Getting the extra 2 or 3 to pass Maris, I think, is a bonus. Because he's not passing Barry Bonds at 73. So
No, he never was.
No, but that's what I'm getting at. So like he's not going to set like the single season record. So I think just getting to 60 should be the main goal at least. Once you get to 60, then go ahead and shoot for the 63 he would need to take that record.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Staying on the topic of individual players doing stuff, Vlad Guerrero hit his 100th home run. I think it was Wednesday. He is the youngest player in Blue Jays history to get to 100 home runs. He is the 7th youngest all time to 100 home runs. And he is about a year and a half older than the first place guy. Any idea who the fastest to 100 home runs was? It was a long time ago.
Like, just give me the years, like 40s, 50s, 60s.
Hold on. I gotta look him up.
Okay, then it's gonna be old.
Well, I don't want to tell you the wrong years.
I don't think.
Okay. he would have hit his 100th home run in 1931.
Okay, yeah, I got no clue.
It's Mel Ott.
Ooh. Ooh, interesting.
Um, yeah, the most recent player to be on the above Vlad would be Bryce Harper.
That makes sense.
Um, he was 1 day younger than Vlad Guerrero. So if Vlad would have hit his home run 1 day sooner, he would have tied Bryce.
But see, my question though is, in how many at bats was it?
That I don't know. The
Although,
other guys on that list above him, it's Mel Ott, A-Rod, Andrew Jones, Miguel Cabrera, Johnny Bench, Bryce Harper, and then Vlad.
I probably would have guessed A-Rod if you had given me like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Um,
I wouldn't have guessed Andrew Jones.
I wouldn't have guessed that one either.
I mean, Andrew Jones was a great player, but I would not have thought of him.
Honestly, A-Rod is probably the only one I would have got on that list.
I probably would have guessed Miguel Cabrera and probably Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper, when he broke into the league.
Oh, no, I was thinking outside of Bryce Harper because you had already.
Yeah.
But I probably would have guessed Bryce, but I wouldn't have guessed Miguel Cabrera. Although thinking about it, it makes a lot of sense to get where he's at. Yeah, because he was ridiculous young.
Yeah, and he came out. He got to the majors when he was 19, which definitely helps.
Very much so.
But all right, big news, record breaking, happened yesterday? No, 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
It was on Thursday. Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright set the record for most starts by a pitcher and catcher combo at 325. Yadier Molina had a dope fucking helmet made.
Did he wear that in game? Because I saw clips from the game and it didn't look like he was wearing that helmet.
I thought he was, but maybe he just had it made for the achievement.
Maybe I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe the camera, the angle just didn't show it quite right. Because that helmet though was sick.
Yeah, he's wearing it.
Oh, okay. So it must have just been like the angle that the camera was at.
It's hard to tell because like the main part of it's on the top. So if you see him from the front, you can't really see it. But yeah, he definitely has it on. But yeah, it's awesome. Definitely go check that out if you have not seen it. Because yeah, it's really cool. Lastly, unless you had something else to add to that.
Other than I think it's cool, and I think part of this is what's going to make it so that they go into the Hall of Fame together, whenever that is.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
You're really not liking that one, huh?
I really don't. But I don't want to waste it. I poured it. Yeah. That's what I get for doing something that I am sure that I wouldn't like, but I bought it anyway. All right, to close it out, we have an update on something we talked about, I think, last week.
Yes.
And that is that the minor league players are officially joining the MLB Players Association. I think it's starting this offseason.
That would make sense. The season's over for the minor leagues, and
yeah, I think they're just doing playoffs at this point for minors.
So I think it's huge, but I also think that because they're going to be part of the MLBPA, I think that's going to bump their pay up. I think more than I originally thought.
If they were forming their own union, I feel like it would have taken a while before any movement happened. Because they're joining an established players association, I feel like there's a better chance of like a collective bargaining agreement happening fairly quick.
I agree. Which
But
is
we'll
huge.
see what that is.
This is killer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it's. I mean, we both thought that they were already unionized or part of the MLBPA, so like that shows you that this should have probably already been happening. But yeah. All right. Let's talk about the playoff picture. Um, Currently, as we said, the Astros and Dodgers are both in. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the standings here. Uh, Astros and Dodgers are both already a lock, and the Dodgers have won their division. They're the only two teams at this point that are in. However, there are a decent number of teams who are already out. um, those include the Royals, the Tigers, the Rangers, the Angels, the A's, Marlins, Nationals, Cubs, Reds, Pirates. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm misreading all of this. That is the number to win the division. So all those teams are eliminated from winning the division.
I mean, I think the
Most
Rangers,
of those
Angels,
teams
and
are
A's make sense. They're all 30 plus games back. There's not.
the okay. So the magic number, which is the how many games you have to lose, or the team above you, or I guess for wild card teams, the team in the third wild card spot have to win. Um, the Royals, Tigers, and A's are fully eliminated in the AL. The Angels and the Rangers are one game from being eliminated. So if they lose or the Rays win another game the entire season, they're eliminated.
So they're eliminated.
Yeah. Boston is 8 is their magic number, so they're not out, but they're 11 games out of the wild card, so they're out.
Yeah.
You're talking about less than 20 games. You got to make up 11. That's pretty unrealistic.
Agreed.
In the American League, realistically, the playoff picture is kind of set. It would be very difficult for any team. The only thing that would change is if Cleveland can't hold on to the AL Central.
Okay.
Because the bubble team, which is the Orioles, is 5.5 out of the wild card. So, and the Yankees pretty much have the East locked down. They had a pretty good week, and the Rays and Blue Jays fell apart.
I mean, the Blue Jays were 7-3. They had a okay week.
Yeah, but the Yankees had a better week.
I mean, I'm sure. But they're only 5 out with what?
They're only 5 out.
15, 20, 18 games left, maybe?
I think 16.
Yeah, they have 16 left. I mean, it's possible. I don't think it'll happen, but it's possible.
Cleveland had a very good week, and most of their games were against Minnesota, so they really fucked Minnesota up, and they just swept them in a doubleheader today.
Oh.
Or they're about to. They're in the 9th inning. They're up by 3 runs. So they're about to be 7 out. So they're pretty much done. So now it's Chicago versus Cleveland. Cleveland's got a 4-game lead currently.
Well, and they have a series coming up, right?
They do. Yeah. We have 5 against Minnesota right now. This is the second and third gamer today. And then 2 more the next 2 days. And then, I think a 3-game series against Chicago. But if we can keep beating up on Minnesota here, then that series might not mean anything. We might already have like a 5-game lead. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's very true.
we'll see. I'm very hopeful. But going over to the NL, so wild card right now is Braves, Phillies, Padres. Um, I want to be optimistic for you, but it's hard. It's going to be very difficult for San Francisco to get back into this thing.
Oh, they're out. They're done.
They're 9.5 back.
Yeah, they're
Their
not even.
elimination number is 9.
They're not getting there.
The only if you're counting them out, which realistically we
I
should.
mean, they are.
Um,
It's okay. You don't have to be nice about it. They're out.
The only bubble team is going to be Milwaukee. Milwaukee is 1.5 behind San Diego, which we talked about this probably a month ago. It would be nuts if San Diego misses the playoffs.
That would be insane.
And it's very possible because San Diego is still not playing well.
No. They're still weak. And I think... I mean, they got kind of a gimme schedule for the next week, roughly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. The
Padres
Padres...
had a lot of gimme schedules, and they just are not playing well.
But then they have to play the Dodgers, and then the White Sox, who are going to desperately need those games, who are going to be fighting for those games. And then they end the season against the Giants. That's like almost a guaranteed 3 wins to end the season.
Yeah, but the Giants could play spoilers there, and that gives team motivation. If you can knock a rival out of the playoffs,
I'd laugh so hard if it came down to the last day and the Giants won and knocked them out.
Great.
That'd be funny as hell.
But yeah, so that's kind of the big stuff. As far as the divisions go in the NL, like we said, Dodgers locked it up. St. Louis has an 8-game lead over Milwaukee.
That's
so that one's
pretty much locked up.
And then it's just Mets and Braves really in the East, and that one's been back and forth. Both those teams had a terrible week this week. Actually, I guess the Mets pulled it together at the end, but they still just barely went over 500. So, yeah, that one's going to come down to the wire, I feel like. I don't think either team's going to pull away with that one. Who do you predict wins that?
I think the Braves get it. I think the Braves run them down. But
yeah,
it's going to be crazy. If the Braves get back in the playoffs, whew.
Well, whichever team loses that division is going to be the number 1 wild card seed.
Oh, no, you're right.
The Braves, who are currently in second in the division, have a 10.5 game lead in the wild card.
Yeah, so, they're definitely,
yeah. It's pretty much a lock.
I don't know. I wouldn't count that nearly as much of a fail as the Padres potentially missing the playoffs.
I think just the fact that the Padres could miss the playoffs is a failure.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it isn't a...
Like, even if they sneak in, I think it's a failure for them. Unless they go on and win it all, of course.
I mean, I guess that's true.
Happens in baseball. Wild card teams win the World Series pretty often.
I don't know. I just have a feeling the Braves are going to take the division, but if they're both in the playoffs, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah. I mean, well, the top 2 teams get a bye, right? For wild card. And then the last division team plays the worst wild card team, and then the other 2 wild card teams play.
Is that how that works?
How it worked, I think.
Well, so then it's actually more advantageous to be one of the top 2 wild card teams because you get a bye.
No. The top 2 division winners
Okay. I see
get a
what you're saying.
bye.
I see.
And then the worst division winner plays the worst wild card team, and then the 2 top wild card teams play each other.
I mean,
So with that said, if the Braves pass the Mets, they will be one of those top 2 teams. So it is very big if they can pull off that division.
It definitely adds more weight, but I still don't know if it makes that much of a difference, to be completely honest.
Yeah, basically, I mean, Cleveland, assuming they hold on, will have to play Tampa Bay at this point. And then it would be Seattle and Toronto would be the other wild card matchup in the AL. And then in the NL, it would be Cardinals, Padres, and Braves, Phillies.
Okay.
There'd be some good series there.
I was going to say, some of those sound like they'd be fun.
I'm really curious to see. This is the first time baseball's had buys. So I'm very curious to see how that affects teams having a few days off. Because you don't get 3-4 days off and potentially 5 days the entire season.
Well, until you hit the playoffs, because it'll happen in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, I guess if you sweep and the other game goes 7 or something like that.
It doesn't happen, I don't think, much, but it can happen to teams in the playoffs. But that's the only time. So if your team's never made the playoff, you don't have that experience.
Right. But yeah. Which, to be fair, so the Mets wouldn't really have that experience. The Braves won the World Series last year. Yankees have been in the playoffs a ton. Astros have been in a ton. So 3 of the 4 teams right now would, have that experience, but
I don't know. I think it'll be interesting.
As much as we both said we don't really like the new playoff system and extra teams getting in, I am excited that there's going to be more playoff baseball because playoff baseball is great.
Oh, it's so exciting.
I as bad as baseball markets the regular season and their players, they're very good at marketing the postseason.
Right.
And the product is just so much better.
Well, because the games mean something. Tangibly mean something.
Yeah. Over 162 games, individual games just don't mean much. So, yeah.
Are you still confident with your initial predictions for World Series?
Not nearly as confident. I'm trying to remember. I think I picked Dodgers, Blue Jays.
I think we both did, but you picked the Dodgers to win, and I picked the Blue Jays to win, if I'm not mistaken.
I picked the Dodgers to win because you picked the Blue Jays to win. I want the Blue Jays to win, but to be fair, I also didn't expect Cleveland to make the playoffs, so now I'm screw the Blue Jays. Go Cleveland.
You'd be fine with losing that one.
Yeah, if Cleveland wins the if Cleveland makes the World Series, I'm very happy being wrong on that one. The AL is going to be a gauntlet to get through. It's going the NL, but I feel like there's, I feel like the Phillies and the Padres and even the Cardinals to an extent aren't really that strong.
Not like the Yankees. Well, the Dodgers are probably it.
The Dodgers, of course. Yeah.
That's the only team, though, in the entire National League outside of the Padres who might not even make the playoffs that have an insane team. Well, the Mets, I guess you could say that if everyone's healthy and playing.
But they're like the Padres. They're not playing great going into the postseason here.
It's tough.
But yeah, AL, you got Houston and New York, who are both juggernauts. Yeah. Seattle and Toronto and Tampa have all played crazy well. And Cleveland, I'll be the first to admit it, Cleveland's way overachieving for what this team is. So I mean, I honestly feel like Cleveland's one of, if not the weakest team in the American League
Hey,
playoffs right now.
best to be the overachiever in the worst division makes things easier.
I mean, yeah.
They're the
I
worst
mean,
division by like 10 games
oh,
almost.
it's not close.
Like
Yeah,
it's
they're
bad.
terrible. The AL Central's awful, but but so was the NL East last year, and the
That,
Braves snuck in with the worst record in the playoffs and won the whole thing. So
yeah, what were they? What were they like?
they were
88
like,
and
I think
something.
it was 88 and 74.
I can't do that math fast enough. That hurts my
I think
head.
it's 74.
Uh,
I trust my math skills.
I trust mine too, but I've been dealing with numbers all day.
Fair. But yeah, I mean, yeah, just get in. That's all you have to do.
See, the Braves can't win because they don't have Jock Peterson. Although the Giants fucked Jock Peterson's streak up.
I was gonna say, what having Jock Peterson hasn't helped the Giants much.
That's because the rest of the team is trash. He's actually had a pretty good year.
He has.
Uh,
He definitely deserved that All-Star game. But
yeah, he's had a much better year than people probably. I mean, it's not great, but for what he is, which is kind of like a
yeah,
DH kind of pinch hitter, comes in and plays, short stretches when you have someone down. He's not like an everyday guy, I don't think, at this point.
right.
He's
Which is crazy because he is not old.
He's 30. Yeah, which isn't that old. It's not like young, but it's not that old.
Yeah.
He's got 22 home runs this year, which is pretty respectable for anybody that's not like a giant power hitter.
Yeah.
He'll probably end maybe with 25 if he gets into a couple in the last couple weeks. Maybe he gets there. His batting average is 264, which is pretty bad, but much better than his career.
For a guy who's going to drive in runs, that's not horrible in today's baseball.
Well, think about it this way. He has 63 RBIs off 22 home runs. I mean, obviously off more than just the home runs, but
right.
Mike Trout has 36 home runs and only 71 RBIs.
Yeah, well, that's because nobody on the Angels can get on base except him and Ohtani.
I'm just saying, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Also, just glancing at his stats, this is the best batting average he's ever had.
Yeah, he's hitting
9-year career.
He's hitting almost 30 points higher than his career average.
Yeah,
like this is,
and he's hitting almost 20 points. He's hitting 15 points higher than his second best average ever.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, like he's, for what he is, I like Jock Peterson.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But the problem is the Giants shouldn't keep him because just get something for him. Because the team's literally going to be torn apart this year. Unless they spend massive money,
I don't think there's that many free agents to go for. I'd have to look. Maybe that's something we can look at some point, like the upcoming free agents this offseason. But
yeah, because
I haven't heard, like last year everybody was talking about, the big names, but I feel like I haven't heard anybody talk about anybody being a free agent this year.
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a few, but it depends on who's going. Like a lot of the Giants guys that I see are like, "Oh, go get Judge." It's like, what good is Judge going to do on our team?
Well, yes, Aaron Judge is the one exception. He is a free agent, and he will get absolutely paid. He's going to be, he's older, so he won't get like Tatis and Julio Rodriguez money, but he'll get money. He's going to get a lot more than the Yankees offered him at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I mean, he would be a good fit in San Francisco because he's a right-handed hitter, though. And the left is a lot shorter than that big ass wall we have in right.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't think it's much farther or closer. It's just you don't have to hit it over a 30-foot
Yeah,
wall.
it's a short wall.
I just don't see what adding someone of this caliber to the team as currently constructed does.
Yeah, I mean, I think Judge is 30. So you figure you get him for another 5 years. Like, if you're in full rebuild, like, are you going to have your team ready to roll in the next 5 years? Like, I mean, you might be, getting better, but you're probably not going to be, competing for a World Series.
Yeah,
it'd be a quick turnaround to have a 5-year from full rebuild to World Series contender.
That would be pretty quick.
And I mean, unless, like you said, you do, some big free agents,
like what the Dodgers or Padres have been doing.
Well,
just pay anybody and everybody whatever the fuck they want.
I mean, yeah, basically.
Which I don't know. I like the idea because I'd love to see a power hitter back in San Francisco, like a true power hitter back in San Francisco. But I just think it would be wasted money. I think Aaron Judge is going to get a lot of money and a lot of offers from a lot of people.
I mean, outside of the really small market teams, you have to assume everybody's going to at least offer him something.
With what he's doing this season, there's nobody that you could be like, I know I'd rather have my guy over what he's doing right now.
Right. Yeah, and the only people who won't offer him a contract are people who literally can't afford it.
Yeah.
Like, everybody else should be offering him a contract.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't make sense, like you're saying. But if you have the money, you have to at least try.
I mean, I guess it would increase ticket sales.
Yeah.
To an extent, because people still get fed up.
Yeah, of course.
Look what the A's did to the A's this year. It also raises
expectations. I mean, you bring in a guy worth that much money, you expect to get some more wins.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
But his WAR right now is 9. I don't think 9 wins for the Giants is really that significant.
That's how many they're out of the wild card right now.
Yeah, but that doesn't make them a good team. They get slapped. Like, they're just barely there.
But they'd get in. That's all that matters.
I mean, just think of it this way. If they won 9 more games, they would still be over 20 games back from the Dodgers in their division.
Well, yeah, but the Dodgers are about to hit 100 wins, so.
No, they're not going to win another game for the rest of the year.
Okay. They've only lost like 6 games in the last 2 months.
I said they wouldn't get to 100, and what I say is as good as gold. They're not getting another win.
They're at 98 right now, I believe.
The Dodgers?
Yeah.
No, they're at 99. If they win any more games, they get to 100.
Maybe their game finished tonight then? Because I thought they were at 98. Maybe they played a day game. Oh no, they're started.
They're in their game.
Yeah, well, it's not looking good for your pick because they're already up 5-1 over your Giants.
Yeah.
In the 3rd inning.
Can't even do me a solid there. This is the last series of the season with the Dodgers.
Yeah. Probably good for you guys.
It's very
get it over with.
It's very good. I think tomorrow's like Hunter Pence Day. Or maybe that was today.
Crazy. Like, you and I both picked. I think we both said that there would be multiple 100 games. Or no.
No, we did.
Yeah. We were like, yeah, there will be possibly 3 teams in the playoffs out of that division, 200-game winners, and now they might not even get a second team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the Padres are only going to finish like 10 games over 500.
That's so brutal.
Yeah. But All right. You ready to move on to
Yeah,
some versus mode?
let's get it.
All right. This week, uh, I picked Cleveland. You picked Houston. We both had really good picks.
Right?
For once, I think this might be the first time you and I have both had good picks. Um, Unfortunately, I win on percentage points,
That's
just
what I said, you
barely.
son of a bitch. You beat me.
So Brandon went 6-1 with the Astros. I went 7-1 with Cleveland. Thank God for double headers. I guess technically Houston had to have played at least
They
one
they they played
doubleheader
at least
too,
one. They
because they
had they had a grip of games.
yeah, yeah, but which also means that I had the best record in the week,
Son of
which
a
means I get
bitch.
2 points. I think that might be the first time I've picked the best team of the week.
It's okay. I think I only picked the best team of the week once.
It's harder to do than I expected. You do still have me for record this week by a game because you only lost one game last week. Whoever you Dodgers, I think you picked
Oh
last
yeah.
week. So I'm at 9-3. You're at 10-2. Um, for the season, I am at 85-49. You are at 73-61. That your last 2 weeks have made your record jump like crazy. It looks so much better
Yeah,
now.
I was gonna say I'm not so disappointed in where I'm standing now for the yearly record, because like 2 weeks ago I was like, "Fuck, this season is over."
You were
Like,
like 2 games over 500.
yeah,
Now you're like, now it's looking good.
yeah, I've
You're not
had.
out of it yet.
I'm not clear yet, but damn, it's been. I cut 4 games off of the last week. I was like 8 games back still after last week.
Yeah, yeah. It was a really good week for both of us.
I'll take it. Although I would take your record just looks wise over mine though.
Well, yeah, yeah. The losses I have quite a few on you. Actually, no. You know what? It's 12-12. Did I catch up to you on
Oh, did we
number
finally
of
like
games?
fully catch back up?
Because I'm 12 ahead in wins and 12 behind in losses.
134. How many have you done?
134.
Yeah. So I'm
Damn,
officially
that's
8
crazy.
games back, right?
No, 12
No,
games
12.
back.
Yeah, okay. So the season is probably still over for
It's
me.
yeah, it's well,
Probably
it depends.
12 game. We were just talking about like 8 games being enough to close guys out.
Yeah, but that's also they're only playing like 15 games. We have like, you know, we
That's
get
true.
more games than most teams. Um, let's see. All right, well you are up to pick first this week.
I totally had my team and then I forgot who I was going to pick. Like, no joke. I was like all set. I'm like, okay, good. I know exactly who I want. Who was I gonna pick? Who did I have last week? It was the Astros.
Astros.
Dodgers, baby.
Who they got?
So they have 1 game with the Giants, 5 games with the Diamondbacks. So 6 games total, and they're gonna lose no more than hopefully one.
Okay.
Because the Diamondbacks are terrible, and the Giants clearly can't compete.
This is through the 23rd.
Yes, 23rd.
Okay, I got my team.
Who you going with?
I'm going with the Mariners.
Ooh, do they have a
The
good schedule?
Mariners have 2 against the Angels, 3 against the A's, and then 3 against the Royals. Or no, I'm sorry, one against the Royals.
Yeah, that's pretty soft too.
Yeah.
This should be
Now,
I have a feeling it's going to be another week like this week, hopefully.
the Dodgers do obviously have a better team than the Mariners, so
Yeah, but
better.
they're also they're the only team that's clinched.
True, they might play more of their September call ups and stuff.
Exactly. So that's the only thing I'm worried about. But these teams are soft.
Yeah. Even their September call ups should be better than most of those teams.
At this point, yeah.
I was trying to look at like the Braves if like because they're gonna have to play their asses off, but the Braves have the Phillies for like almost all their games, and I'm like Phillies are fighting for a playoff spot too. So, but yeah, then I saw the Mariners, and I'm like, okay, that's one of the easiest schedules of this season.
Yeah, I was thinking Cardinals at one point, but they don't have very many games. Ironically,
Yeah,
they only have one more against the against the Reds, and then they play 3 against San Diego. And that's it.
yeah, because yeah, that Dodgers, and you don't want the Dodgers game included anyway, but
Yeah, I don't want that game included. But outside of that, there wasn't a ton. There was another. I feel like there was still one more team I was looking at that I just. No, it wasn't the Yankees. No, I guess it must have just been the Dodgers that I was looking at.
could have gone with your Giants.
I'm not trying to throw that hard.
4 against the Rockies.
I'm not. Once I'm statistically out of it, we'll start picking some dumb teams. As of now, it's still technically possible.
Look, the fact that we're like 3 weeks from the end of the season and we're, fairly close, like, I think that's pretty good. We've both picked really well this year. I mean, overall.
We'll see how we end up. If I can have a couple more weeks to end the season that are at least pretty good, I'll feel pretty good about this year. Being like 15 games over 500 for my year, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And ironically, by the time we're done, we'll have almost a full season's worth of games.
Yeah. I mean, we started this within a couple weeks of the start of the season. So, yeah, we weren't really too far behind. And the fact that we, get more games is helpful. But, yeah.
Trace Thompson hits a 2-run home run. Do you know who Trace Thompson is?
No.
Exactly. Dodgers September call-ups doing work.
Fair enough.
I actually don't think he's a September call-up. I think he's actually like one of their higher prospects that's played a little bit here and there.
Yeah, it's hard. I feel like that's got to be the worst place to be a prospect because like nobody on that team's getting passed up by a prospect.
No.
Like you're stuck in the minors until someone leaves or retires.
Well, for them right now, you're essentially stuck in the minors until you're traded for another big name player.
True.
Like
that's what their farm system is for. It's not to bring guys up, it's to trade them away for established players.
Yeah, they bring guys up in September for one reason and one reason only, and that's to showcase to the league in a small sample size that they can control and then trade them for big name talent.
Not wrong.
I mean, it's genius. If you've got the money, fucking do it. I can never say don't do it anymore because you look at the Warriors payroll, it's a little ridiculous at this point.
I mean, yeah. It has been for a while. Not at this point. It has been for a while.
No, I'm talking about with the added taxes and like the luxury tax because it keeps getting upped every year.
Yeah.
Like it's to the point where they're paying like almost $500 million a year in salary because of all the luxury tax.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I saw like a picture of like the Cavs starting lineup. And I was like, man, I'm actually excited for basketball season. which is not something I've been able to say for a while now.
I didn't initially like the Mitchell trade, but like as I saw it back and actually, like you said, like saw a picture of the whole roster like together, I was like, okay, I see how he fits. I don't know if I like losing the young guys, but like I see what they're going for.
The main guy in that was Sexton, and he won it out anyway. So, it's basically like the other two guys. The one was our pick for this year, so we're essentially trading our pick for him. And I forget who the other guy was. I don't remember.
I can't remember exactly either.
Wow. Okay. Aaron Judge and Paul Goldschmidt are now officially both on Triple Crown watch. Aaron Judge is currently third in batting average and leading in home runs and RBIs, and he's only a few points behind in batting average.
Well, there's no way Goldschmidt is on Triple Crown watch.
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
How many does he have?
In batting average and either home runs or RBIs. Let's see, Paul Goldschmidt is currently leading in batting average. Oh no, never mind.
He's only got 35 home runs. Oh.
Well, okay. As of a week ago, Schwarber only had 36. And he's second in RBIs behind Pete Alonso by 2. He's only 4 home runs back and 2 RBIs back. I mean, 4 home runs is a lot at this point in the year, but it's not impossible. Aaron Judge, probably more likely at this point.
Wait, so
he's currently 3.
Who's on watch? You said Goldschmidt originally.
Aaron Judge.
Well, no, obviously Aaron
Goldschmidt.
Judge.
Those were the two I said.
Oh, I guess
Paul
that would
Goldschmidt
be Goldschmidt would be National
Aaron
League.
Judge. Yeah.
And then who's second for the American League?
For which?
For home runs. Well, there was somebody else you were talking about that was like close.
Home runs, he's 20 ahead. He's locked.
Oh, okay, yeah.
RBIs, he's 11 ahead, and then batting average, he's third. He's 4 points behind Luis Arraez in Minnesota.
Can that dude just like sit and just? Well, no, you don't want him to sit. You just want him to like strike out a couple times.
Minnesota's not going to sit their best hitter. They're trying to catch Cleveland.
Just sit. Just. He needs a couple one for 4 days. That's what
he's also got to jump Xander Bogaerts, who's 3 points ahead of him.
3 points is nothing. That's literally like the difference in like 2 at bats, 3 at bats.
Yeah, 4 points behind Arraez, 3 points behind Bogaerts. So that's the only. Basically, he has home runs locked up. That's done. RBIs, he's got a pretty sizable lead.
11's pretty substantial.
I mean, not impossible. Like one guy has a 7 RBI game, like it happens, but
pretty rare though.
But also, Aaron Judge is not stopping. He's still racking up RBIs. So yeah, it's really just batting average.
Oof. That's gonna. It would suck to see him hit like 315 and not win the Triple Crown. Like imagine 60. Imagine like 60 home runs, 315, and like 100 RBIs.
Yeah.
And he doesn't win the Triple Crown because he was like 3 points or 2 points behind somebody.
I was going to say he could win the Major League Triple Crown and lead all 3 categories for all of baseball. But
that'd be nuts.
He's way back in batting. Freddie Freeman's got batting average locked up.
He's at like 320, isn't he?
He's at 333.
Fuck.
He's literally getting a hit every 3 at bats.
That's insane.
And yeah, Judge is 312, so there's no way he's making up 21 points this late in the year.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman would have to like literally.
He'd have to go over, and Aaron Judge would pretty much have to get a hit almost every at bat to make up 20 points with this many at bats in the season.
That's true.
You're talking about Freddie Freeman has 556 at bats. Aaron Judge has 520. So like you're talking, if you get a hit every like fourth at bat, fifth at bat, that'll raise your batting. Or no, you'd have to go like 2 for every 5 to raise your batting average like 1 point.
Yeah. Oh, bro, that would be cool. I'm as much as I hate the Yankees, I'm excited watching and seeing like what Aaron Judge is doing this year.
Yeah, especially the fact that he might not be a Yankee after this year.
He will
makes me more excited to watch him.
Like, let's be real, he will be.
I don't know, man. I think the Yankees really pissed him off in the offseason. I think there's a real chance he might leave. Even if the Yankees, I think if there's 2 offers, one by the Yankees, one by another team that are very close, I think he'll take the other team.
I think that depends on where that other team is.
Well, of course. I mean, it's got to be a contender.
But that's the thing is, I don't know if there's a lot of contenders left that have enough payroll for him.
The Dodgers have infinite payroll.
I mean, facts.
Could you imagine if him and Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and like I can't even think of their players right now. There's too many.
Like I joke about this, but like I'm dead ass. If Aaron Judge goes to the Dodgers this offseason, I'm not watching baseball next year.
If Aaron Judge goes,
I'm uninstalling all of my baseball apps. I am not watching a single game. I'm not listening to it. Nothing, ever.
If Aaron Judge goes to the Dodgers, then I feel like the call for a salary floor is gonna just absolutely skyrocket, and a salary cap.
I was gonna say that'd be more the salary cap that would impose
because it's just at that point it's just not fair. You're talking about a $400 million a year payroll.
Yeah,
like
I mean, I don't see them going after him, to be honest.
I honestly couldn't tell you who their center fielder is, so
I just don't see the Dodgers going after him just with what they have on payroll already. But because yes, they do have borderline infinite money, but just because you have it doesn't mean you're always going to go out there and spend it. Especially if they win the World Series this year, they're going to be like, "Why are we going to? We don't need that."
They didn't need a lot of the players they have.
No, they did. That's the problem. That's the point.
Let's see. Cody Bellinger is currently their center fielder. I mean, that's a huge upgrade.
I would agree with that. Cody Bellinger was supposed to be like the prodigal son for them. And he's been like good in spurts and he's had his moments. But I don't think he's ever been the player they thought he was going to be.
He had the rookie year everyone thought he would have, and then he has done nothing since.
I mean, he was big for them, though, against the Giants in the playoffs last year.
He was big in the playoffs, but his regular season, he batted like 170 last year or something. It was one of the worst years ever.
I'm not going to lie.
He's only batting 200 this year.
And this hurts. In the playoffs, when the Giants were thinking, like, when you're seeing them, there was a moment, I forget what game it was, where they walked somebody to get to Cody Bellinger.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, good move. Good move. Because,
statistically, it was a good move.
Because I think they walked Justin Turner.
Oh, then yeah.
Yeah, and we were like, okay, good move. And then the dude fucking rips like a triple. I think it was a double or a triple. And we were like, well, fuck that. And they ended up losing the game.
Yeah.
And then we basically gave them the go-ahead run.
Right. Okay. I forgot to do it because I've been trying to stomach this down, but I forgot to rate my beer. You are drinking the same one.
Same one.
You had last week.
What did I have it at? Let me see if I want to readjust my rating.
I'm curious. I want you to tell me what you think it is now and see if it compares to your one last week.
I think I had it at the low 90s. It was like 91 or 92.
Yep. You had it at a 92.
Yeah. I would say it's still pretty firmly there. Although when I start to think back of some of the other stuff I think I rated, I might have one or two rated higher.
Uh, no, that's your number one.
Well, no. I
Besides,
mean, like, I think, like,
oh,
if I, like,
if you
thinking
went
back,
back and
yeah.
drank it, yeah,
Which is why
yeah,
I think
that's
I'm
fair.
going to do a little bit of trip on some of the ones that I thought were really good and see if I still think that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or if I would rate them higher.
All right, I am gonna rate this
Ooh,
beer,
can I
which,
guess?
uh, yeah, again, it was a Martin House Brewing Company Down Under Strawberry Sour.
Okay. I only have one question before I guess.
Okay,
If you were not on the podcast drinking it, would you have finished it?
no, I would have
Okay.
dumped it out.
Okay. I think you're going to give it a 28.
Pretty close. I already wrote it down, so I put it at a 33.
Okay, so I didn't know if you'd go that high if you were not gonna finish it, because I think we agreed like a month ago that if you would finish it, it's automatically a 50.
Yeah, yeah. I would not have finished this if I wasn't on the podcast. You know what the other thing is about it is that it's almost like a champagne
Oh,
over a beer. Like it's like fizzy and like has that kind of champagne tingle, which is not what I'm looking for in a beer.
yeah.
But yeah, it's not great. If you like sour beers, it's probably really good. But
I like
it's not
sweets,
for me.
not sours.
Yeah, it's very bitter.
I know they're still called sours, but like I like them when
Yeah,
they're actually like sweet.
yeah. This one is kind of sweet, but it's definitely more sour and bitter than sweet.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank
But,
you.
but
Anything else you
yeah,
want to throw out this week?
no,
I think we're
I'm good.
all right, everybody. Thank you for stopping in, listening to another episode of Bases and Brews. We record this live every Friday. Typically, today is Saturday, but we usually do this on Fridays. We had to wait a day to get the YouTube thing working. But come check us out next Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to try and do this again here live on YouTube. So come on by when we're live and say what's up.
If not, all of our podcasts will be up on YouTube now automatically.
Easy money.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Later.